wanted to understand that practical method that helps us heal and bring our lives to a stage where we can be more peaceful. And at the same time, we wanted to see how we can be more helpful so that we can be a good parent and bring in good life into the good souls into this world again. Because we want to make sure the next generation is always happy, contented, and have a peaceful life, right? So that is the goal. So we'll take a 2 minutes of pause to think on a topic where you have always been, think of something that comes to your mind that makes you sad. Okay. So we'll take a pause and give you 2 minutes and then we'll come back. Why? Just close your eyes and think something that makes you really sad or unhappy. Madam, how many of you were able to get a thought within the first few seconds? Were you able to really connect yourself in the first few minutes itself? Or you took longer time to find the answer for this question? You can unmute and just talk.
Ma'am, a bit louder.
Yeah. How many of you all had a challenge of like bringing up a thought in like after a couple of minutes? Or how many of you was it easy for you to bring it a thought like this in the first few seconds? So was it very easy or was it very hard for you to bring up a thought on this? Please feel free to unmute yourself and just say yes or no. It will be helpful to have an interactive session.
You can even write in chat box your reaction.
Yeah, were you able to bring up a thought immediately or it was very hard to bring up a thought? Oh, we have very great signs, so nobody got a thought when you think of this.
It was easy.
Yeah, so it is very easy. So that is where we are trying to think about it today, because when we say we don't have any attractions towards physical needs like buying new car or like having new dress or bags, and we are giving away the pleasures, physical pleasures, sometimes we always hold to mental pleasures. What is that mental pleasure? Is holding behind our sorrows, holding behind the past scars. Why do we get the scars? We are going to talk today, and how we can heal our own self. That's what we're going to talk about it today. And so getting into the subject, so sometimes we would get a flash of an anger that feels like more disproportionate to what the situation is. Because when we walk into the house and we see something not very right in the house, we get very angry. We get very anxiety, like very onto our nerves and just start shouting at it. And then later we realize, we say like, okay, the problem is very simple, but I have overreacted to it. And sometimes we become more anxious related to something. Or sometimes there is a habit that it is very difficult for us to break. And how we are reflecting ourselves is like we have been holding behind the brighter things that had happened to us, and it's constantly embarked the journey of negative stuff that has happened to us. Because when we say we are entering into this world, we understand that we have always had some unseen inheritance that we carry from our past life. But that doesn't mean that we hold only that. We create new blueprint, new items into our blueprint and make this more messier, or like a spaghetti noodles, as we say. Because when we learn from the scientific methods, we try to understand how we can heal our own self. So some simple examples that Vedatri Maharishi is like to add here is about what the word sin means. Sin is not something that we call it as more as a religious term. It's in a scientific way. When we say sin, it is something that it's like, I can say it is like a map or a blueprint. And as and when we do a karma, we add some kind of a mark to it. And that is where we carry something called a burden. That's why we call it as like that is the scar that we leave behind us. How we can clean and purify these imprints, and how we can ultimately change into a pure legacy soul that can be transferred to our next generations. So one of the main things that Vedatri Maharishi keeps telling us, like the moment the physical birth of a child is not the actual birth of a child. The moment the child is getting imprinted into the mother's womb, that is the actual date of birth. And right from that day one, the child gets the impurities getting added to it. It's not just impurities, it's getting all the karmas into it. Everything gets recorded into the karmayam, or nothing but the muladharam of the child. So when we say that everything starts recording on that moment, how do we get it purified? How do we understand the sin? Sin is nothing but how we can say it's like an action. Okay, so today when I do an action, and that has some kind of it has a natural law of harmony. So it means like when I'm playing a wrong note in a piano, it is not pleasant to hear, right? Though my playing a wrong note is just stays for that moment, the vibration of that stays for a quite longer time, isn't it? So I play a wrong note in the keyboard, and the song is stopped the moment I stop playing. But the vibration, the noise that retains in our ears, that is where we call it as sin. So it creates it creates a vibration, and it stays there and gets imprinted. So that is how we call it as sin. It is nothing but a very simple action. So when I play a nice note, the rhythm stays longer in my ears. When I play a wrong note, that also stays longer in my ears. So that way of understanding is called karma. It's like when I have a good vibration, it creates more harmony, and I feel more happy, and my actions have good centric understanding. And at the same time, when I play a wrong note, the music is wrong. It creates a bad vibration, and it is like very hard, and that harmony is spoiled. And that is where we call it as disharmonious influence. A simple way to get deep seated into this intent is like, I have an intention, and every intention has its own consequences, right? So today, when I walking into a room, how I get myself dressed, how I look, how I present myself, am I suitable for the audience? Am I giving the right information that my audience is looking for? And am I giving every word that I speak should be useful to the people that who are coming into the group? Sometimes it is the nature that we go work along with the nature. Sometimes we work beyond the nature and we are working out of harmony with the universe. And that is where this disharmonious act will lead into an action called a recording or a punishment. It's not called a punishment. It's about having more attractions towards the vibration that we've already created. So it's like in a deep rooted sense, every action has its own consequences, and the consequences are not controlled by a superhuman called God who's sitting on top of it. According to Veda Maharishi, that superpower is the nature. So nature is the universe, it's a universal power, and that cosmic energy, whatever we send to the cosmic energy comes back to us in multiples. When we do something that is good. So how I say is like today when I shout at someone with a very cruel word, and that is a pain, the word is getting erased off, it goes away. But the violation that I do to this nature is like causing pain into the mind of another, right? That is a cruelty. And that vibration is recorded. And recorded where? Is recorded into the genetic center. And what happens? That vibration comes back and it starts attracting similar pain because what we are given to the genetic center is pain. So what it does is like it keeps attracting similar pain and brings in more hurt. And that's why we call it as we are still in a loop. And that again, sometimes we can see that reflection in our children too. So when we are angry, when we shout at something, children also shout. We will always feel, why my child is also behaving the same way, right? Because that is what we are transferring to our children. Some patterns we keep transferring from our parents to children because we have to break the pattern at some point, right? So that's what we are all trying to ensure. So in a real world example, I just want to give more ways to connect to it. It's like on a very stressful day, I lash out at my child, saying like, okay, you feel very bad, you misbehave very badly. And that is nothing but the sound of me shouting at my child might vanish in a second. But the pain and anger character that I have demonstrated to my child is permanently recorded in myself as well as in my child's imprints. And he feels that treating someone is very common like that. And it keeps lingering in the guilt. And sometimes the small action of anger is not easily eradicating. It keeps vibrating and replay. And this becomes just like a ripple and makes our soul as a more impure soul. That's like recreating another scar. So according to Veda Maharishi, doing good stuff and bad stuff doesn't tally well. It's like a weighing machine. When we do something very good, it keeps piling up on the one side. When we keep adding some bad stuff, it keeps piling up. So it will be like a weighing scale. It will be balancing out. So from today onwards, we think about how we can balance this karma that we carry. Because there are three types of karma as Vedatri has already stated. Sanjita karma, Prayatna karma, Nagame karma. So Sanjita karma is nothing but what we carry from our past. So to heal that, it is like actually Sanjita karma is nothing but a warehouse because it is very vast. To clear it down, it takes years and it takes months to get it done. But Prayatna karma is something that we have done it in this lifetime. How we are shaping our family, how we are shaping our career, how we are shaping our own talents, how we are actually challenging our lifestyle. This is where we are trying to reduce the imprints. For example, as Aya said, the Balaya said, I got introduced to Vedatri in the age of 15, and I was not aware of what my destiny is, how I have to shape my own talent. I have what type of challenges that I'm going to face in my life, how I have to equip myself for those challenges I have not been trained. And that's where every sorrow that I face today is coming from. So when I understand this problem, when my life kicks me out, and that is where I say, I go rush to Vetapri Magrishi and cling to his hand and say, I'm here, please help me get out of my Sanjita Karma as well as Prayatna Karma. And that is where we are going to understand that every moment should know what our destiny is and start working towards it, reducing amount of scars or imprints that we're trying to create today. And Agami Karma is nothing but whatever actions that we have, we can control from ourselves. There's nothing but our present actions. And when we say when we are getting ourselves free from it, it is not about completely getting rid of it. It's about breaking the pattern and starting clearing out our old debts and then paying for all of our old debts and then in a freedom life. And one more important thing I wanted to say is like we have to bring in a good recipe of profit, like, and every functions that we do today should make sure that it follows the two-fold principle that I will never cause pain to anyone and I'll be able to help someone who's in pain. So this is the starting point for all of us. We treat this as like we are going to help someone outside our life as our spouse, actually, and our close relationship, right? So it starts there. We always treating someone or helping someone as someone to pay. A person walking the road with blind eyes, going helping them is only help. No. Family members on a daily routine, immediately understanding how they can be healed, how we can reduce causing pain to someone, creating disharmony to someone. That is where we start with. And I wanted to give you one more example. It's like how Vedatri Maharishi says like return for the excess profit. So this is one small example. So we always say like there is a businessman, so he has a household and he's very rich. He's having a lot of money and he's having huge profit. He's so very rich, so he doesn't have any karma. No, it doesn't work that way. The choice that he makes at the moment decides whether it's going to be, that is the very crucial position, whether it decides whether he's going to be in harmony or not. The amount of pain a rich person gets is it can never be compared with a person who doesn't have a money, right? So, for example, when I say like a rich person who is having money, well, he leads a very happy life. He can buy whatever he wants, and all this doesn't mean that his decisions are always right. Every decision has its own crucial act, and it decides whether it's going to be leading to a imprint of greed or it's going to lead to an imprint of harmony or not. So a pain that is caused to a rich man doesn't mean we can directly equate to a pain that is caused to a poor man who's struggling on a day-to-day basis for his livings. Because there is a golden rule that says like every action is given to you based on the act or dharma that has done on the decisions that we have made and consciously trying to make good imprints. Because all this act says like we are reducing the profit level that is coming, or sorry, reducing the debt that we have caused due to that problem. So that is where we will be trying to balance both our karmas, good and bad.
Ramya, a bit louder, please. And
Yeah,
constantly
sure.
soften our eyes, please.
Saringama, sure. Is it audible now?
Yes, sir. Constantly we need this.
Yeah.
A bit louder. It's
So how we can treat a divine purification is going to the laundry every day and doing a laundry. And that's why we say we're like going to Durya Rhythm, getting ourselves purified, understanding what's dripping out, and then coming back. So one of the best ways for purification is Duryadhita Dava. So it is like I remove my clothes, put it in the laundry and wash it and make sure it gets rid of the dirts and then coming back. So that's how we treat Duryadhita Dava. So we walk into the universe and say, oh, here I come. Tell me what I have done wrong and help me to get purified and then coming back and making sure we don't cause any more imprints leading up. That is where introspection helps. Agatha, we introspect what we have done and write it down, journaling it down and understanding how we are going to get cleansed. And then the next day when I go, I don't leave any drippings. I always make sure I turn off all my drippings and hand it over in a clean way when I go next time and get something else cleared up. So that is where reducing the strain starts out. So first thing is like start meditating and then doing introspection regularly to understand our divine washing machine has two cycles, introspection and meditation all the time. And when we say we are going to witness our thoughts, here is the problem. How I can make a clear judgment whether my thought is right or wrong. So identify, analyze, and erase the old imprints. So how do I say is like one of my friend walked up to me and said, hey, I always pray for when I do blessings, I always pray adding more thoughts, govern that thoughts. Like we give more understanding, we give more power to our thoughts, and we completely use our to waste our biomagnetic energy. So have to moralize the thought and understand we are spending more on it. So reducing the thought process, the unwanted thoughts. So that is what we have to start thinking about. And realization of desire. So it is not about desire. When we say we are more saying, people come and say like, okay, I've given the desire to buy clothes, given the desire to buy new stuffs in my house. I'm leading a very simple life. Leading a simple life is leading a life without any thoughts, leading a life without anything like holding back behind the sorrows. Because when I first said, like, can we think about something sad? We are able to bring a thought within a couple of seconds, right? So that is what normalization of desire. So we are clinging to the past sorrows. We rerun the information again and again in our mind, and we say like we live the moment. That's not what moralization of desire. Desire is to get ourselves free from even the feeling of sadness. Because what our mind is doing is like this holding behind the whole problem. So when I fight with another person, the moment I see the person, the first thing comes up is the fight. Because we enjoy the pleasure of negative feeling. We enjoy the desire of having the negative feeling. We are always carried away to have that deep-rooted sadness, deep-rooted sorrow. So when I ask someone, what do you tell me about your childhood? They say, my mommy didn't buy this, my mom didn't do this, my dad didn't do this. But there hasn't been one single happy moment that you can actually exaggerate and say, oh, my dad used to do this for me, my mom used to do this for me. Because this is where we start having the desire of having negative thoughts. When you inculcate the habit of having negative thoughts, the negative thought by itself is what we are attracting. We attract the same negative thought again and again because we don't practice the act of forgiveness. The act of forgiveness should start from ourselves. We should forgive our own self. We should forgive our own self for holding that bad thought. Healing, self-healing, and then forgiving the other person. So when we do blessing, it is not that, okay, a person is constantly hurting you and blessing that, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. That is not how we bless. We say like, one of the best blessings that we can give to anyone is the word Valhalla. So nothing more than this can help them heal and help us heal. We don't have to think of a situation to bless them. If my son wants to excel in his education, that is my desire for him to excel in education. What the world has for my son is not what I decide, right? What the universe's plan is not what I'm going to decide for him. So I use the word Valhalla. So he's always safe, sound in both body and mind. So that is where moralization of desire comes in, and neutralization of anger is forgiving and reducing the sin imprints. And I would also like to talk about mental frequency. So as we all know, there are multiple mental frequency like theta, alpha, gamma, theta. So when we always say we are able to bring in thoughts, we are still in the beta stage. Or we are just trying to move to alpha. But we have to attain that pure state of mind where our mental frequency is as low as possible. The powerful way to do that is to make sure we are reducing our the powerful way is to attain being Viryadurutava, go to the washing machine and systematically cleanse our soul. But when we say I'm cleansing my soul, what is the profound action is reducing the thought process that we are actually very stubborn in creating that. For example, how I say is like I have a cloth. I have made a very big stain in it, like with a stain with a tomato chutney or something. How I can remove it? Can I remove it in the first wash? If I remove it very hard on a daily basis, what happens? The cloth gets toned, right? So can I keep washing it every day? Then it will be so. So I just sometimes not touching it for a time for some time is also a very good act, right? So that is where we're reducing the chaos in the mind. So when a problem is currently very high and it's very affecting and it is so stressful, sometimes not thinking about the problem is the best way to get out of it. Reducing the energy that it creates in our mind. And that becomes the powerful solvent. That vibration that we're giving it from our meditations, that calmness, reduces the pain. And then sometime in over a period, it tries to loosen out and then it slowly gets washed out. Have you seen that stain? Like last a good example is like 2 days ago when I went to a shop to a restaurant and I ate. I spilled my like a pasta all over my dress, and I left it the same way. And after 2 days, like when I washed first, I just tried to wash it. The stain didn't go. So after some time, I just left it like that. And when I washed it, it goes off because that's what it happens. It gets when you deep soak it and loosen the thought, it will actually wash it off. So that's what we are trying to do to our mind as well. We are trying to be more profound in our action and then free ourselves from that stubborn stain that is getting into our brain and then de-stressing ourselves to meditation. And hope this kind of introspection helps us to actually identify and bring in more clarity and strength to us on a daily routine. I would like to share one example from my own life. Like I used to be very terrible at my temper. I used to be like very, very harsh at people. And people treat me like they keep me always isolated. They don't like try to provoke me because when I get angry, I might not know what I'm doing. But after a few months, when I feel like after a few years, I can't say months because neutralization of anger is a journey. So after a few years of continuously meditating and neutralizing my anger, that is where I found what are the places where I explode. And I started taking applause in those places where I get explode. And then understanding why I explode. And then I started keeping calm in these areas. And I started understanding what another person is going through when I explode. and it saved my time as well as their peace. And that's where I started setting my own self free. So meditation is the only way we set ourselves as a prisoner, because we become like a prisoner for our own anger. So it gives an opportunity for us to set our own self free. And we should be knowing what choices we make, as choice of compassion or choice of imprints. Because when we say we are getting purified as a part of our soul, we should know what we're giving back to the society too. And I would like to conclude this thing by saying one last information. Don't become a victim for our past destiny. We are the architect for our own self. So we should start using our pen in a right way so that we draw only good imprints into our blueprint and make ourselves more harmonious and learn how we can erase all our divine possessions that we carried from our past life and make ourselves more pure so that we'll be able to live a very happy life today and build a legacy for our future. So we will be able to attain the peaceful things and get our journey purified via Arulnidhi.
Thank you, Professor Ramya. It's a simple yet wonderful speech of how to erase scars on the soul. Your explanation, that is, for example, Turyadit meditation, that is going to laundry to get the things cleansed. Yes, I loved it very much. So also the either it be this tomato chutney or pasta, whatever it is spilt on the dress, it cannot be cleaned just on one day. It requires more and more cleaning. So also we need to go on doing meditation, which will help us to have good thoughts. That in turn will make us erase our sins. Thank you so much, Ramya. I enjoyed your speech well. And dear friends, it's discussion time now. Whoever want to discuss, please come online, raise your hand. Professor Balchandran.
Yes, it was a very nice speech. More of, we could feel that's her own experience speaking. Okay, so that's how this dry cleaning and tomatoes and all that, So explaining Swamiji's great concepts from our day-to-day life. That's the greatness of Maharishi, that he is able to make us think great concepts in our day-to-day life itself. You don't have to go to a forest, leave everything and go.
Our
And
Guru also didn't ask us to go to forest at any time. That's what I like about him too.
yes,
Because there are a lot of meditation practices that always says like, okay, leave your family, come up for 10 days, 15 days, stay with us and do meditation. Or sometimes they say like, okay, give away all your current needs. Like for example, if you're wanting an iPhone, give away. But our Guru said like, if you wanted to enjoy that pleasure, enjoy it as long as you have the capability to do it. Don't have a desire that is beyond your capability. He never wanted us to leave what we are living our current life. If you are born rich, enjoy the rich thing. That is what you're blessed with, because that's how your soul was. That's what you carried from your past as well. But don't create an imprint where you create a disharmony to someone. Don't lead a current life where it hurts someone. He never asked us to leave anything behind.
yeah. And that, again, that she used to flare up on anything earlier. I don't know. I think the parents must have thought about it. That's why they kept your name as Ramya. So at some point of time, you will get over all those things and be true to your name. Good. Maria has given simple methods. What is that? Uh, Superimposition, expiation, superimposition, and dissolution. And the Turyatita meditation, as you said, is a way by which complete dissolution is possible. And tomorrow we have this World Meditation Day. And Swamiji's gift of Turyatitam, if that can go to everyone, that twofold moral principle will become natural. You don't have to plan for it. You will start behaving like that. So for the entire world peace, Maharishi has given method. And tomorrow, especially, all of us in our meditation centers will be doing Turyatita meditation and then blessing the world. Good. Just the previous day, you have taken a very good subject and discussed it very nicely. Thank you, Ramyaji, for your limited. And I was worried because I think it must be 5 o'clock in the morning there and 0 degrees, isn't it? So I felt very bad that we should disturb you. But then you have warmed our hearts. So thank you very much for your. Over to Madam for any announcements.
Thank you so much. Lakshmi Palniappan has written her happiness on this subject, on this talk. So also Kiranmayi Vasanini has put a symbol showing how happy she feels with this, with your speech. And Sunanda has also written on the, has given a message, just congratulating your speech. Thank you, Ramya, for your nice speech. We look upon to hearing more from you. And dear participants, let us come to meditative stage now, so that we will all join together in blessing Professor Ramya. Professor Ramya, be blessed by the divine. Our family, be blessed by the divine. Our present and future endeavors, be blessed by the divine. Thank you all, dear participants. Now, I have some announcements to be made. We have foundation course being carried on twice monthly. That start from 1st and 16th of every month. Also, Kayakalpa course is conducted on 2nd Sunday of every month. And this apart, we have meditation being conducted daily. That is morning 6 a.m. and evening 6:30 p.m. sharp. That is followed by thought for the day. Please do join for the meditation also and enjoy the bliss. Also, try to bring in more of your friends and relatives. That will also help you to erase the scars in your karma, so that they will benefit together with us. Thank you all, my dear friends. We will meet again next Sunday, next Saturday, with another beautiful speech on Vedadriyam. Till then, it's Bharati bidding goodbye to you all. Thank you all. Be blessed by the divine.
Yeah, I would like to add one more stuff, Ma. When
Yes.
we bring a family and friends, they will reduce the imprints on ourselves too. So
Yes, definitely.
bring them in.
Thank you, Ramya. Be blessed by the divine.
Mhm.